Welcome to the third and final module of our time together today, talking about how AF&R courses can meet graduation requirements. Module 3 is all about this standardized process, and emphasis on the word standardized because standards are exactly where we are going to spend most of our focus during this module. There are two things that I want you to know as you walk away from this module. The first one is that AF&R courses have to meet that 50%, meaning 50% of the Illinois learning standards that are achieved in the graduation course intending to be substituted. And then the second thing I want you to know in this module is also on your screen is that parents must request in writing that their child be allowed to take the particular vocational course as a substitute for the intended graduation requirement. Those forms can be provided by your local school district. Okay, now to reinforce these two concepts and to reinforce the skill that goes along with them, we are going to jump into activity 3, which is activity 3.1, standard alignment. Simple activity here. First thing I'm going to ask you to do is refer to figure 1, which is on the second page, and provides a framework for looking at some of the Illinois learning standards and provide some basic information. Actually, in this figure, I provide the 4 most common ones used for the graduation required courses. They're common courses we're looking to substitute with AF&R courses. And those are English language arts, math, science, and social science. And now you'll see there are 2 links provided for each of these. One link, the first link, is going to be to the entire set of state standards for that particular content area. And the second link is going to be for the priority learning standards, which were established as a part of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic over the course of the previous year. Also, you'll notice that some key information is provided here for each. It'll tell you how they're organized and some key components. So for example, English language arts is actually organized by grade band, meaning K through 3, 4 through 6, et cetera, all the way up on to high school, 9, 10, and 11, 12. But math is organized by grade band from K through 8 and course subject once we get to high school. So it's separated out by statistics, algebra, geometry, et cetera, et cetera. So we move away from grade bands and more into mathematical subject area. So each of those descriptions is accompanying each one of these standards. If you want to go to the Illinois Learning Standards webpage, that's also linked here for you. But all of this information is here so that you can move on to step 2 in the directions, which is selecting the appropriate standards for your chosen graduation requirement. So think of an AF&R course that you want to substitute for a graduation requirement. Maybe it's a BSA for a biology requirement, or maybe it's an agribusiness for a algebra requirement, or I don't know, whatever ideas you may have. Think about that, and then with that in mind, select the appropriate standards for that particular requirement. So as you look at these, which one of these is most appropriate? And from there, you can move on to number 3, which is to answer these 2 essential questions based on the course and the Illinois learning standards that you chose. This activity is all about deep diving into the learning standards, kind of figuring out how the one that you need to focus on is structured, organized, and how you can navigate that document quickly and easily. Some of them are, well, frankly, all of them have their own kind of different organizational structure, which is why I asked that you don't try to explore all of them today, but rather just the ones that you're going to be focusing on for your particular program. Once you've adapted kind of the organizational structure to what you need and learned what you needed to know, you'll be able to move on to creating that side-by-side comparison that we talked about in module 2. The 2 essential questions you need to answer today: how are your chosen standards organized? How will you know which standards are appropriate for your chosen AF&R course? Other than state standards, how else could you compare an AF&R course to the chosen graduation requirement, and who could help? These you should answer on your own, but more importantly, discuss them with your small group as you work through activity 3.1, standard alignment. Thank you very much, and I will see you at the end of this workshop for the conclusion video.